I gotta ask you about Silicon Valley. Okay,
let's hear it.
Can we talk about that? So,
of course,
your character Erlich Bachman.
Gotta do it.
Okay, boom. Everyone knows this guy. What I loved about Silicon Valley is I actually just recently interviewed Kevin Connolly, from Entourage.
Did you?
Yeah, he's a great dude.
Man.
Shout out to you, Kev.
Yeah.
But by the way, so like Silicon Valley kind of reminds me of the Entourage of like tech bros.
Of Silicon Valley. Yeah, I think that was a little bit of it, and it's almost like Wahlberg's character in Entourage was sort of strangely Thomas Middleditch. But from the beginning, the two of the guys that created the show, so funny, Altshuler and Krinsky, and John Altshuler kind of said the show is not about Richard, the main character. He's like, it's about Richard and Erlich because it's kind of a Wozniak, Steve Jobs thing allegory.
Going on, 100%.
Yeah. And
and
it's
you were the
bizarro world. No, I'm the Steve Jobs, if you can even believe it. Yeah. Richard is good with the tech, and he's actually building. He's the engineer, and I'm sort of the face of the incubator. But after a while, it was, they had built this thing where none of the guys really liked Erlich, and there was no reason for him to be involved. So more and more the writers were like, how do we make it so that Erlich has to still be on the show type of thing? So at 4 years, I was like, they had wrote this thing that was really, really funny about me going to an opium den and Gavin Belson paying for me to just do opium there forever. And I was like, I want to leave the show. And HBO was like, what do you mean? And they were like,
welcome back.
Don't you want to you can just do 3 episodes a season or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I think it's really funny if this is how Erlich kind of gets killed off in the show.
At the opium den.
Yeah. And so that was so funny to me. And the reason was, it was really funny. The real reason was I was just like kind of starting to go on autopilot. I'd been this character for 5 years.
Right.
And, he's a total stoner, and it had gotten to the point where I could have gotten totally high and just walked my way through this stuff and collected a check, and that's it. And that's not what I wanted to do. I was doing a lot of film.
Most people would have done
that.
Yeah. Right?
I have a joke where like, not HBO, but Hollywood was kind of like, wait a second, you want to leave the show? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, don't you want a boat?
Oh, really?
And I was like, what? And this is just a mentality.
Yeah.
So in their mind, they're like, well, don't you want to be rich? Don't you want to have a boat? And I was like, no, I want to live in New York with my wife and do stand-up. And they're like, but have you ever been on a boat?
No. Type
of thing. So I sort of said, I think this is the right time to leave this thing. And that's another thing is I think you've got to know when to exit. It's not even know when to hold them and know when to fold them. You always want to leave when you're a little bit uncomfortable as to what you would do after you leave. Because once you get to the point where you're like, I should have left, right?
It's over.
That moment puts you in a place where you're always thinking backwards instead of forwards, instead of scrambling yourself and being like, okay, I'm leaving this thing. I don't know what it's going to be like. We'll figure it out. Let's go. And that makes you so focused. But what I would say to everybody who's watching right now and thinking, yeah, that's me. I'm always thinking about how I should let, then just right now begin the process of leaving.
Guess what, TJ, thank you. I quit, guys.
Because all it took was an emptying of the bladder.
I feel fucking fantastic.
And so I've done that with this. I'm not going to say there's a major franchise that I felt like I needed to do with that. And then pretty much everything in my life except for stand-up, because stand-up changes every night. So it's never the same. You never have the same job description unless you're a guy who's doing the same thing over and over and over and you film a special. Then over and over and over and over and over and then you film a special.
Right.
But that's not me, because I want people to come to the show and be like, dude, I should come again on Sunday because it's going to be so different if he's doing what he's doing here.
Can I add to what you're saying? Can I break down? I have a saying that I constantly, it's on my desk. It says your comfort zone will kill you.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
If you're just getting too comfortable, you can all of a sudden you get lazy. You get kind of like you forget the hunger. You forget the drive of what's going on. Yeah. Like what you said is almost like reminiscent of what happens with athletes. Sometimes they get out of the game a little too late. They say, well, I'll keep going. And like, for instance, if you get out on top, you're on top. Like you won a championship. Well, not Brady, because he came back. Yeah, if you get out on top, you're killing it. You're at the top show on HBO. You were hungry. People are wanting you. You know this as a comedian. Sometimes you'll tell a funny joke. All right, guys, have a great night. You always kind of end where things are going well, rather in an ascending or even top of the pinnacle, rather than on the way down. There's kind of like a sad drop off there. Like, oh, he didn't know how to. He should have retired a year ago. He should have left a year ago.
People are so nice, but a lot of people come to me and they go, yeah, I kind of stopped watching after you left. And it's like, I didn't really sit and watch the rest of the show. That wasn't
why?
That wasn't the intention, though.
But I wish them all the best, and I wanted Jimmy O Yang, who is the Chinese guy.
I know Jimmy. I know Jimmy well.
So funny. What a great guy. I wanted him to have more space. I wanted Thomas Middleditch to have more space himself to like grow because he is so funny. I used to work with him in Chicago. He's one of the funniest people on the face of the planet, especially with improv. It's fine. She can be on the phone. It doesn't matter. And so but I do feel like I did exactly what you're saying. I left on top. I left when the show was still fresh, still great. I had already won a Critics' Choice Award.
Oh yeah,
been nominated for another. It was really fun. But I was hosting awards shows. I was doing all that kind of stuff. And I feel like you're going to see there's another thing that I'm not involved in that I think it was a really good idea not to sort of step into that. And I also Kate always says this is exactly what you're saying, but she loves this quote by David Bowie that he feels creatively at his best when he's out to sea just to the point where his toes can't quite touch the ground.
Oh, I love that.
He can feel it a little bit, but then as the currents change, he loses
comfort zone will kill you.
Yeah, but not to go so far. Yeah. Not to stop and not do this and then, okay, I left Silicon Valley, guys. I'm going to do a really, really serious drama about a gay father and his gay son coming out to each other. That's not what I'm saying.
That's dropping what, 2023? When is that happening?
But I'm saying sort of know when it's time to let go of something and don't let financial security, more than anything else, don't let financial security stand in the way of growth and opportunity.
Interesting. So if you like that clip, click right here to watch another, or if you want to watch the entire Saucecast, click right here.